Looks like I can't get no satisfaction. Hey guys, MasakoX here. We are well into the Universe Survival Arc's endgame, which is just that, a game. A survival game which is far bigger in scope than the likes of Battle Royale and the Hunger Games, and with much less teenage angst. Judging by how slow time has been progressing throughout the episodes that we've seen so far, it is quite obvious that we're going to get at least 10 episodes in this actual arc, maybe even 20 that just concern the Tournament of Power. Or at least until we can actually get a conclusion towards this arc or a transition into a sub-arc. If we are going to be getting a new arc, we will be getting leaks concerning the matter about a couple of months beforehand, or maybe just before it happens, because Dragon Ball Super's team have been quite keen to make sure that spoilers don't get out as early as they have done. I mean, at least 3 months early, or maybe 5 months in the case of Kale. It all depends on how successfully the Universe Survival Arc is going, and judging from the ratings, it's going pretty well. Now, call me ungrateful for wanting something new when we've got a perfectly good arc going on right now, but it's still interesting to speculate based on the evidence that we have so far what the next story in Dragon Ball Super could be. In fact, we should be actually praising the fact that there is more story to explore instead of ending this series right after this story. Because as we know, this whole scenario is probably one of the biggest plot devices that you could use in terms of gravitas, scope, peril, universal destruction. That's a biggie! We've seen the Omni Kings act out on their threat and destroy Universe 9, so we know that's not a bluff. Oh, that shot of Rose screaming its head off will give me strength in the future, I just know it. But where do you go from universal destruction? Do you introduce a new, higher demon to actually outrank the Omni King? This being Toriyama, you can't throw that possibility out of the window. He does like to subvert conventional thinking, so really, anything is possible. So I mean, you're probably saying what's the point of second guessing? I mean, you're right, there is very little point. But it is a little bit of fun, so why not? Based on what we can gather in the current arc, we can begin to surmise the ideas that could happen in Dragon Ball Super going forward, especially when it comes to its more important narrative. I think there are 2 possible scenarios, so it's time for a little bit of what-ifery here. Only instead of looking to the past, we are looking to the future. First off, let's talk about the most traditional continuation, something that is very likely to occur in Dragon Ball, more so when you take modern trends into account. In my 5 ways the Universe Survival Arc could end video, I talked about 5 different scenarios that could wrap up the entire arc. I suggest you take a look at that video after you're done here, it's actually one of my favourites. One of these scenarios was titled The Not So Boring One. What do I mean by that? Well, let me tell you. In that scenario, Universe 7 indeed wins the Tournament of Power, Goku is deemed the best fighter, and so therefore, he gets his wish on the Super Dragon Balls as his prize. I would imagine at this point Goku would feel either remorseful towards all the universes that were destroyed, or he would be bullied into submission by his colleagues to actually get on with doing the best thing and the right thing and bring everyone back. You might think that the Omni Kings would object to this, and if Goku were to actually bring every single universe back to existence, that the Omni Kings would just destroy them again, out of a sort of childish impertinence, but you know what? I actually think they would allow it. Why is that, you ask? Well, I think that at this point, they've had their fill of fantastic fighting and special visuals. They are absolutely excited and thrilled and jubilant right now. They're in a good mood. Plus, it's Goku. They absolutely adore Goku. And when it looked like Goku could be knocked out of the tournament early, the Omni Kings were visibly upset by this. They didn't want to see their best friend go out so soon. I mean, granted, this could be down to the fact that, oh, Goku could have been exciting, or it could have been down to the fact that they actually like Goku, and they didn't want the thought of Universe 7 being destroyed this soon. No other fighter has had that much sentiment bestowed upon them. So if Goku were to make the wish, I think that there would be a strong possibility, nay, probability, that the Omni Kings would roll with Goku's decision. So, the Super Dragon Balls are summoned, and Whis makes the wish on Goku's behalf, because Goku obviously doesn't speak the language of Super Shenron, and the wish could actually now be made. Knowing how precocious the angels can be, I'm looking at you, Vardos, I reckon that Whis will take Goku's statement literally. All of the universes that Zeno destroyed would actually be revived, not just the ones in the Tournament of Power. That means that the 6 universes that Zeno destroyed all those years ago would actually now be restored. Might there have been a reason to their destruction? Might there be a reason as to why they're not around anymore? Was this a good cause or just an impulse? The Grand Priest said that these universes were destroyed because the Omni King simply felt like it. This might be true, but I think there might be more to this, something that the Grand Priest doesn't wish to share. There might be a big bad in those universes. What this big bad might be, I'm not quite sure as of yet. Either way, this villain might be just as strong, if not stronger, than the Omni Kings, so there's a good reason as to why they would actually want to keep this being locked away. I would imagine that if Whis was delivering this wish, he would be a little nervous at first, but he wouldn't want to actually disappoint Beerus because that's what his job is, and Goku said the words, not him. He would still carry it out. Yeah, and then just let the mortals and the other gods just deal with it. The angels, I'm washing my hands of this. I mean, one thing's for sure, the angels will be able to sense this sinister power. Sounds dire, right? But remember, every single universe has been brought back to life, so that means all the fighters from the Tournament of Power are now back in play. Having realized that they've been brought back to life, they then discover it was Goku that made the wish for them to return. This could be a good way to absolve any manifestation of hatred towards the character, so that means that whole chestnut is then just tucked away and never to be brought up again. This means that this won't cause any issues going forward, especially if we wish to visit any other universes in the future, so that means we haven't got that little grudge going on in the background. Also, I want the prospect of Gohan going to Universe 11, meeting up with the Pride Troopers and doing posing with them. It's just too good an opportunity to pass up. Now on Goku's side, he's now got some allies and they will be happy to help Goku track this big bad down, and he's going around all the other universes. Why do I think this might be a good idea? Well, it's all down to the elongation of a good thing. The Universe Survival arc has been quite clearly one of the biggest shots in the arm for the entire franchise, much more so than the Future Trunks arc. Yeah, that arc was the catalyst to actually instigate interest in the property, but the Universe Survival arc has been the one to actually sustain it. A new animation style, a new feel, plus a new cast of characters, it is quite clear that Toei, Toriyama and Shueisha are making a statement. They wish that this show has good fortune and for it to continue for a very long time. By introducing a big bad that could still threaten the universes after the tournament has ended, including the universes that were actually exempt from the tournament, this could actually make the Universe Survival arc take on a whole new meaning. It would be a whole new story, but the Universe Survival arc moniker could still be legitimate. This could be a really long arc like back in the days of Z, maybe 50 plus episodes. I mean, any chances to rekindle any nostalgic tendencies in all the fans out there is a good thing for Toei and Shueisha to manifest. We need those nostalgia dollars. Whatever happens, I want there to be a scene where Goku and Toppo reconcile their differences. It would be so cool. And yes, I know the whole bringing all the universes back goes against my desire for Consequence to be a thing in Dragon Ball Super, but come on, this idea is a pretty good one. And also, it kind of doesn't go against my feelings, because it brings on a whole other thing. Be careful what you wish for. The whole monkey paw effect, that's now a thing. Goku was just like saying, bring them all back. He was too reckless with his wish, just like with everything else in this arc. It will be another example of Goku making another gaffe, which means a new arc proceeds and a new big bad happens that other people have to clear up the mess of. Okay, so you mentioned that there was another scenario that could happen. What's that exactly? Well, a trip to Universe 6, and a proper trip. Since the days of the original Universe 6 arc, we were enthralled by the relationship that was beginning between Vegeta and the Universe 6 Saiyan Kaba. It was the master and pupil dynamic that we were all too familiar with and we were keen to see more of, especially with Vegeta. He needs more people to interact with. But I would love to see an entire arc dedicated to Universe 6's Saiyan world Sarada, and so that means we can actually explore the actual monarchy, the races, the civilizations, to an actual detailed degree. What has made this outcome even more possible is how Caulifla has taken to Goku. It's quite clear that Caulifla has a lust for power. If you don't have said power, then you are not worth her time. If you do have it, she's going to be your new best friend. At first, she was rather dismissive of Goku. She thought that all Universe 7 Saiyans were a bunch of weaklings and not worth her time in the tournament. They were just like a bunch of no-hopers. They were the strongest ones. When she found out that that was quite the opposite, she was quite keen to go up against Goku, having actually just palmed him off earlier. When Caulifla and Goku fought in Super Saiyan 2, they were actually evenly matched, with only Goku getting the upper hand because he was the more experienced martial artist, as well as being more experienced in the transformation itself. In any case, you could now consider that Goku and Caulifla are either allies or maybe even friends. If everyone gets out of the Tournament of Power all hunky-dory and everything turns back to normal, then I could believe that Goku would wish to visit Caulifla and find out what she can actually do on her homeworld. If Goku does have said motivation, then that would make that scenario almost a certainty. Vegeta and Kaba's interaction made it quite likely that we'd get at least a couple of episodes with Vegeta in Universe 6, but now that Caulifla and Goku are a thing, we can actually think that this could be a real arc. We would get a fully fledged story, or at least spend a good portion of a new arc actually exploring Sarada and the entire Saiyan government. I reckon that Kale could be thrown into the mix as well. Having witnessed her remarkable power, and actually witnessing her being able to somewhat control it, I think Goku would wish to explore this form even more. It's something that he's not seen before, thank God. Because as we know, Kale was able to control this power to the point where the image in V-Jump a few months ago actually turned out to be true. Thanks at Dragonball Kale for that tip-off, by the way. Who might be the big bad of this arc? Well, it could be someone entirely new, or it could be someone that we've been actually quite familiar with. It could be a big bad that the Saiyan elite have been struggling against for the longest time, and Goku and Vegeta could be the ones to actually tip the balance in the Saiyans' favor once and for all. I mean, it sounds like your typical plot device. That would be the conventional approach. Or he could be directed by the likes of Champa, who would wish to destroy Goku for good. All of this upheaval as of late has all been down to Goku. Everything comes back to Goku. To ensure that things can go back to the way they were, or at least try to go back to the way they were, the best thing to do in Champa's mind would be to kill Goku to make sure that he can't come back and mess anything else up. How many times have we heard, oh, the big bad wishes to destroy Goku out of either revenge or that he's the strongest person? It's something we've heard so many times. Even if that doesn't happen, I still feel that Caulifla, Kaba and Kale could actually become more important characters in Dragon Ball Super. Caulifla and Kale have been a roaring success in the community and have made tons of money for the franchise, given by just how much hype they generated, how much merchandise they have, Dokkan battle of things with their new cards. The smartest decision right now would be to instigate a story where Universe 6 is the focal point, which means that Caulifla, Kaba and Kale could figure in it quite significantly and make it not look kind of forced. Let's just hope that it's not only the smartest decision to make, but also the most exciting. So there we go. Here are another couple of ideas I have concerning the future of Dragon Ball Super. We are a fair ways away of any of this potentially happening, but it's good to sit down for a moment and actually think about where Dragon Ball Super could go. This current arc is a bombastic one, and it's generated much more interest than any of the other arcs going before it. The creators of the series need to actually come up with a story that can generate even more hype and actually keep it consistent, so that means it doesn't peter out and people don't lose interest. Something that is a bit of a slow burner at first, but it's something that can tick over for months or maybe years. The worst thing that they can do right now is to end the current arc with no real conclusion and start something new entirely. There is too much at stake for that. Listen to your audience. They will guide you to pastures new and pastures profitable. So what do you guys think? What do you reckon could be the next arc in Super? Did you like the scenarios that I posed? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, be sure to like and subscribe. Catch you later.